In this chapter, we're going to go over the basics of saving and loading. We're going to go over it quickly. There's not a whole lot here to cover. I just want to explain a couple of things that might be useful to you. So, to load in a blend file, and of course the file extension for Blender is .blend. So to load in a blend file, you can either press the F1 key, or you can go into File and select Open, or even Open Recent to open the last blend file that you worked on. So click on Open, and it loads in Blender's unique interface for saving and loading. In the top header here are all your options for displaying the files. On the right side here we have all the different filters where you can show or hide different types of files. And these buttons here are for sorting out the files alphabetically or chronologically or by file size or extension, things like that. One useful thing here is the different display types. If you click on that icon there with the 4 little squares in it, you will get a thumbnail view, which will actually give you thumbnails of your blend file, which is really useful. So you can see the little golf game here has a picture of the blend file through the camera view. So I know exactly what blend file I'm going to open. Another useful thing is unhiding the backup blend files, which is this icon here which says show .blend1 and .blend2 files. If you click on that, you'll see these other blend files appear. Now the .blend1 and .blend2 are Blender's autosave files. Basically, every time you save a blend file, it will save a backup blend file of the old version, just in case you need to go back a version. If you made some changes that you weren't supposed to or didn't want to and didn't realize it until it was too late, well, you can go back and you can open up one of these older files here, which have different versions of the blend file. So there's a little useful tip there. And there are also other ways to recover old versions of your blend file or even current versions of your blend file if, say, Blender were to crash before you could save it. And you're thinking to yourself, crap, I lost all that work, all that data. Why haven't I been saving it every 5 minutes? Well, just go into the File menu, and you can either choose Recover Last or Recover Autosave, and either of these give you a really good chance of recovering any work that you may have lost if Blender or your computer crashed. So back to the loading interface. One other thing I want to go over is the little bookmarks panel over here. Whatever folder you're in, if you click on the Add button under Bookmarks, it will add that folder to the bookmarks. Like here you can see that I've added DVD Fundamentals to my bookmarks so that I can quickly go to it anytime I'm loading or saving a file. So I would suggest putting in any folders that you frequently use to save your projects in under your bookmarks folder so you don't have to scramble through a bunch of folders to get to it. And that basically does it for loading. That's all you need to know. And for saving, pretty much the same thing. Oh, one more thing. To load in the blend file, you of course just double click on it, and there I loaded in my stupid little golf game. Pow. Now to save a blend file, you can either press F2 for Save As, or Control and S to simply save it, and it will prompt you to save over that file. And you can also go to File, the menu, and select Save or Save As. One last important thing to note is that Blender, unlike pretty much every other program in the world, will not prompt you to save your changes when you close the program. So if you made any changes and you close it, you press the X in the corner, it's just going to close. It's not going to ask you if you want to save your changes or anything like that. That is not default for Blender. So if that ends up happening and you've made changes, you'll have to probably go into the File menu and either recover last session or recover an autosave. But to enable this as a default option, we can go into the File menu, select User Preferences, and under the Interface tab, on the option in the bottom right, it's called Prompt Quit. The tooltip says it asks for confirmation when quitting through the window close button. So you can enable that and click on Save User Settings to keep that as your default. And now every time you close Blender and you've made changes, it's going to prompt you and ask if you want to save those changes. So that's it for this chapter, and let's move on.